And then we meet Megatron with Shia. To me, it's a real fun section of the movie where it's just unrelenting for 10 minutes. That device there comes in. John Fraser, my effects guy, built it, where it comes in at a velocity of psi that's enough to rip your head off. And it's very safe because it's locked in its position, but it shoots through at a very high speed and enough to be very dangerous. And so this is Ramon's very first experience with something that could kill him that was seven inches from his face. So I actually decided to do this first so that I could show him. But the difference was I'm the director, so I had him go through it at a very slow pace so that it wouldn't scare me and I could talk very calmly and focus to him as he was sitting in the front seat looking at me.
I remember pitching Michael the gag of that saw that comes and cuts that car right in half. And he immediately locked in on it.
Come here, boy. Closer.
Okay.
You remember me, don't you?
I did what you said, okay?
Now, just in terms of acting ability, Shia is so amazing. On this table, the base is rubberized so that he's able to jump. Every time he's jumping in the air, he's jumping by himself. And he's using his stomach muscles to come up and then slap himself back with his shoulders. And he had to pretend that these things were grabbing him on either arm and pinning him down. I mean, it's a really intense. And then he would grab and he would hold. It was a very physical thing for any actor to do. And he was doing it quite well. And obviously when the doctor starts examining him, I knew when I wanted the doctor, to pull his nose and to pull open his lips. And then we were able to digitally attach arms to the different movements that Shia was doing. By pulling the skin, you're really able to make these robots and holding open the mouth. So like this thing, with the thing crawling in his mouth and nose, we'd give him a count where I had him feel like it's piercing into his brain and going up, I guess, his nasal cavity, and trying to make it as gross as possible.
What do you figure the slime is?
I don't know. There's a whole aesthetic that's half organic, even in the ship with the... Can't tell what I think of it.
These symbols can lead us to the Energon source.
I think Michael modeled the doctor after Joseph Mengele. I think he liked the idea of him being like a
Nazi?
A Nazi, yeah.
What does he mean by my brain?
So not only does he have his own memories in his mind, he has the wisdom and the information and the language and the history of the cube within him.
And the wisdom and the knowledge of the cube will lead them to what they need in the third act.
Which is what?
Do you want me to give away the whole plot now? Or?
The Matrix of Leadership.
Yeah.
I read a few reviews that are like, and they ripped off the Matrix, even though...
Oh, just because of the word The Matrix, yeah.
Even though the Matrix of Leadership was around long before the Matrix, everybody.
22 years ago, The Matrix of Leadership.
Yeah. More than that. I remember the idea of it being, it was a late edition as well in post, that the idea that taking Sam was not only the information they needed in his brain, but it's a trap for Optimus.
Mm-hmm.
And that again was a way to, even though we didn't have time to spend as much time between Optimus and Sam as we would like for character purposes, you connect them and sort of imply their friendship through the bad guy's plan. You know, Optimus is here fighting because of Sam.
So, putting together an action scene like this, we scouted this forest in New Mexico, owned by an Indian tribe. It gave us a section of the forest that we were able to, like I said in the past, we were able to destroy about 12 trees, but we replanted about 6,000. It's a service that you pay for. A reforestation service. And I must say, as being an animal lover and nature lover, it was quite hard to see us dynamite a few of these trees. So we tried to pick the sicker of the batch, and ones that where they were going to make a road to not feel as bad. But anyway, to try to set up this gigantic, massive action scene, you know, I had big roadblocks of what we were trying to achieve here. But there's a lot of, you know, to choreograph a fight, it's virtually impossible until you have all your plates strung together. So it's you kind of know where you want your fight to go, and you know some of your big signature moves you want to do, but you've got to shoot plenty of stuff so that you have latitude with your imagination when you're in the edit room to come up with this fight and come up with these smaller moves that will get you to the next shot. You know, I like the underdog aspect to the scene, and what I call the kick-ass moment, which comes here. Such as scenes such as that one, where Optimus flies through the air. That's obviously pre-planned. I kind of knew that was one of my signature shots in the movie, or in that scene. And so you can see that we rigged certain explosions on the ground to hit certain timings. It's sometimes as simple as to know with the camera, for a camera operator, sometimes I'm operating, to have just a small little sandbag or a small tennis ball, where you throw it up and you use the gravity to see how fast something is going to fall down, so that you can follow it, so that it's you know, you can count out how long something's going to fall, like a second count, you know. So what we'll do is we'll mark where certain robots are going to be falling, and then they're going to be kicking up and over and then landing here, and it's a count thing, and it's just it is kind of crazy making, because there is nothing there, and you have to use your imagination, and you as a director, you just have to believe that something is there. When I operate through the monitor, or I'm watching the monitor, or I'm operating, I pretend I am seeing them, and sometimes it's so much more helpful to even just have a cardboard cutout, or we had this blue head that was basically the life size of Optimus. You lay it on the ground when he was dying and calling for Sam to run. Just have something there helps you so much more. So this was shot with IMAX cameras, which are spherical lenses, and it uses 70mm film, which is about twice the size of 35mm. Gives you more of a square image, which is much more on top and bottom. And the whole theory of IMAX screens is to immerse you into the experience, because it's filling your periphery vision. What that means is they put you close enough without getting nauseous so that you feel like you're immersed in it. And I plan to do more of this because I think it's a very cool cinema experience. Personally, I think it might be cooler than 3D. That's the one drag about 3D. By the nature of it, it's darker.
Credit to the whole production for coming up with sort of a really different palette for this movie. From the sand to kind of the East Coast, you know, technology in a forest fight.
Mm-hmm.
Shanghai at night, sort of a difference from LA. And then, of course, we'll get to Egypt in Act 3.
When we were cutting the movie,